The wedding will hold at night. We start at exactly 8 p.m. No delays, no extra guests. Your phone stays off. No photos, no posts, no announcements.
Ada stood in the middle of the empty event hall, holding a clipboard and giving instructions like a general preparing for battle. Workers rushed past her, carrying chairs, lights, and flower stands she had approved only minutes earlier. Not there, she said, pointing sharply. Move it closer. Everything must be exact. Her fiancé watched from the doorway, confused. This was supposed to be a simple rehearsal. Yet, Ada was checking every corner as if the building were being inspected for history. Ada, he called, trying to smile. It's just a small ceremony. You're acting like a president is coming. She walked to him quickly, lowered her voice, and handed him a printed schedule. We start at exactly 8 p.m. No delays, no extra guests. Your phone stay off. No photos, no posts, no announcements. Understand? He laughed lightly, thinking she was just joking. She did not laugh back. Ada, it's our wedding. My mother is still asking for her flight details. Her expression changed. Calm, firm, final. She is not coming. The air between them tightened. Outside, cars passed, horns blaring. Life moving as normal. Inside, everything felt controlled, measured, planned. Why, he asked. Ada picked up a pen, signed another delivery form, and spoke without looking at him. Because, she said, this works only if we follow the rules. What rules? She finally met his eyes. Mine. For the first time, he truly hesitated. The next morning, he arrived at Ada's apartment without calling first. He knocked once. No answer. He knocked again, louder. The door opened halfway. Ada stood there already dressed for work, bag on her shoulder, like she had been waiting behind the door. You should not come unannounced, she said. He frowned. I wanted to talk properly. We talked yesterday. No, you gave instructions yesterday. That is different. She stepped aside to let him in, but she did not sit. She remained standing, watching him carefully like every second mattered. He looked around. The apartment was neat, too neat. No family photos, no old books, no frames, no signs that anyone had ever lived here before last week. Ada, he said slowly, where are your things? Your past, school pictures, friends, anything. I don't keep clutters, she replied. Memories are not clutter. She checked her watch. We have 12 minutes. Say what you came here to say. 12 minutes. Not good morning, not how did you sleep, just 12 minutes. My mother wants to meet you, he said, just once before the wedding. Ada's jaw tightened. That will not happen. You keep saying that, but you never explained why. She walked to the table, slid an envelope toward him. Inside was a printed agreement. Simple, direct. No guests, no recordings, no public notice. At the bottom was a blank space. For your signature, she said. Is this a wedding? He asked quietly, or a contract? He did not sign the paper. Instead, he folded it, put it in his pocket and walked out. By afternoon, the questions would not leave him alone. So he did something he had never done before. He went to Ada's office without telling her. The receptionist smiled politely. Good afternoon. Who are you here to see? Ada Okoye, he replied. The woman paused. Which department? She asked. He blinked. Strategy. She's been here 3 years. Now the receptionist looked confused. We don't have anyone by that name in strategy. He laughed nervously. You must be new. She sits on the 7th floor. I have worked here 8 years, she said gently. Maybe you mean a consultant. His stomach tightened. A man at the security desk overheard them and joined in. Tall lady, always dresses in grey or white, he asked. Yes, he said, relieved. The guard nodded slowly. She started using this building 6 months ago. Rents a workspace twice a week. Doesn't talk to anyone. Rent? He repeated. Not employed, not signed, just visiting. He rode the elevator anyway, 7th floor, but the glass door had no name on it. Inside was a single desk, a chair, a laptop. Nothing else, no photos, no history. Just a space someone could live without a trace. On the desk sat a note, not written to him, but he read it anyway. Confirm new identity before ceremony. He was still holding the note when his phone rang. Ada. He stared at the screen before answering. Where are you? She asked. Her voice was calm but sharp. At your office, he replied. Silence. Then stay there, I'm coming. She arrived in less than 10 minutes, walking fast, eyes scanning the hallway before stopping in front of him. You are not supposed to come here, she said. I wanted to see where you work. This is not my workplace. I know, he said, holding up the notes. I found this. For the first time, Ada looked unsettled, not afraid, not angry, just caught. This is private, she said. So is a wedding, he answered. But you made that public enough to control. She stepped into the room, closed the glass door, and lowered her voice. You are looking for problems that do not exist. Then explain, he said. Who are you confirming an identity for? Why does no one here know you? Why does everything about you feel temporary? Ada walked past him, picked up the notes, and tore it cleanly in half. Because, she said, dropping the pieces into a bin, I do not live my life the way others do. This is not an answer. It is the only one you are getting. He shook his head. If we are getting married, he said, I deserve the truth. Ada met his eyes again. Or, she replied quietly, you can choose truth. The choice felt heavier than it should. He tried to forget what he saw. He really did. But the city would not let him. 2 days later, he stopped at a cafe near his office. As he waited for his order, the man behind the counter looked at him twice. You are Ada's fiancé, right? The man asked. Yes, he said carefully. The man forced a smile. Congratulations. But the word did not sound like celebration. You know her well? He asked. The man wiped the counter slowly. Too slowly. I've seen her before, he said. Different time, different name. The cup nearly slipped from his hand. What do you mean? Before the man could answer, a woman from the kitchen called his name sharply. He turned away at once. Your coffee is ready, he said, pushing the cup forward like the conversation never happened. Outside, the street felt louder than usual. Cars rushed past. People brushed by. Yet, he had the strange feeling of being watched. That evening, at work, a colleague leaned over his desk. I hear you are getting married, she said. Yes. To Ada, you should ask more questions, she asked quietly. About what? But she had already walked away. Later that night, he found an envelope slipped under his apartment door. No stamp, no name. Inside was a single line. Ask her who she was before she met you. He sat at his desk, the envelope opened beside him, staring at Ada's paperwork spread across the table. Her ID, passports, and old certificates. Every document carefully organized, every detail perfect. Yet something gnawed at him. He flipped her passport. The photo looked slightly different than the woman he knew. Not drastically, just off. A hint of a smile that never reached the eyes. Her certificates were for schools that barely existed online. His heart stormed. He picked up a letter from a bank. The account history was pristine. No transfers from family, no childhood deposits. Nothing tying her to a past he could understand. He called a colleague from the verification department. Can you run a background check? Minutes later, the report came back clean. Nothing. Not a single trace of her life before the last 6 years. He rubbed his eyes. Then he noticed something odd. Small gaps in the dates on the document. Days uncounted for. Weeks missing. Months that vanished completely. The city outside hummed with normal life. But his world had stopped. Every face he had passed from that moment on felt like a question. Every smile, every nod, every casual glance became a puzzle he could not ignore. He realized that trusting Ada blindly was no longer an option. He had to dig. Before the truth disappeared completely. He was walking home when his phone vibrated. An unknown number. Meet me, 10 minutes. Cafe on 5th. Curiosity overrode caution. He arrived to find a man in a suit, calm, with eyes that missed nothing. You are Ada's fiancé? The man asked, not waiting for an answer. Yes, he said cautiously. The man leaned forward. You need to know. She doesn't let anyone in, and that's how she likes it. What do you mean? He asked. Pulse spiking. She's brilliant, fearless, private. But she hides things, big things. People who try to dig ended up disappointed. Or worse, confused. It's her way. He swallowed hard. A waitress placed a coffee in front of him. He didn't touch it. Why tell me this now? He asked. Because you are close, and it is the last chance to understand before it's too late. He left the cafe shaking, every step heavy. When he reached home, his apartment was dark, quiet. Ada's notes lay on the table. Remember, trust is your choice. He picked it up, reread the words, and knew one thing. He could no longer ignore the gaps, the silences, or the secrets. The countdown to the wedding had begun, and every second now carried weight he could not escape. He stormed into Ada's apartment without knocking. She looked up from her laptop, calm as if he had not just burst through the door. We need to talk, he said, voice sharp. She tilted her head. We always talk. What's different today? Don't play games. He snapped. Everywhere I go, people whisper. Every document, every story, every detail. It's all too perfect. Too controlled. Who are you, Ada? Her eyes didn't flinch. He shook his head, anger mixing with frustration. I can't just pretend there's nothing. I'm supposed to marry you, not a misery. She reached out, but didn't touch him. And I'm asking you to marry me, not my past. The past is mine to keep as I choose. The present is ours, if you accept it fully. He clenched his fist. The city noises outside roared louder in his mind. I don't know if I can, he whispered. She stepped back. Cool, measured. Then you have your answer. He watched her walk away, feeling the weight of her words settle like a stone in his chest. That night, every corner of the apartment whispered questions he could not ignore. Yet, the clock ticked toward a wedding that might never survive the truth. He realized the choice was his, leave the shadows behind or step into the unknown with her, fully trusting the woman she had become. And for the first time, he truly wanted to trust. The hall was empty, lights dimmed, chairs aligned perfectly, the night air pressed against the tall windows. He stepped inside, heart pounding, and that was already there, waiting, elegant, calm, unstoppable. Are you ready? She asked. Then, let's begin, she said, holding his gaze. They walked toward the center. No family, no friends, no cameras. Only two witnesses, silent and respectful. He took her hands. The warmth grounded him. They stood under the soft glow of the ceiling lights. Time slowed. Outside, the ceiling buzzed, oblivious. You trust me? She asked. I do, he said firmly. I am the ready writer, and every story hides a truth.